Hello guys, welcome back to another video. This time we have President Joe Biden up against former President Donald Trump. So we're going to start off with the safe blue states. And again, there's some polls that show Trump leading Joe Biden. I just don't think they're real. I don't think Trump's leading by 7 points. I think that's just a massive outlier. There's no way that that poll's even close to accurate because that would be like a 330 electoral vote win for the Republicans. I just don't think that's accurate at all. I don't think that poll fixed its formulas. I mean, we saw in the 2022 elections where a lot of Trump candidates got slaughtered, and those polls were saying they were going to win, and they got slaughtered. So I think that pollster that showed Trump up 7 need to fix their formula. They're probably sampling way too many Republicans and not enough Democrats. Because if we look at the favorability, Biden's actually ahead in favorability than Trump is. He's 3 points more favorable than Trump. So, again, that's not adding up. But let's get on with the map. So, we're going to start off with Colorado and New Mexico. I really don't think in a Trump v. Biden matchup these states are at all competitive. Colorado's just trending more and more liberal as well, while New Mexico is kind of staying about stagnant, I would say. I mean, Trump didn't do any better in 2020 than he did in 2016 in New Mexico, so there really isn't any Republican trends going on there anyway. In Maine at large, we're going to see it go safe blue this election. I think Biden wins it by about 10 points, while Trump underperforms in Maine second a bit. Probably only win the district by 4 because, again, polls are showing that Biden's getting increasingly stronger in Maine at large. New Hampshire also, I just think it's going to be likely blue. Again, it's a socially liberal state. Plus, I don't think Trump's going to do any better in this state come 2024. I think it stays about the same. Same with Minnesota as well. I don't think it gets any more competitive. But Alaska, I think it'll definitely shift in favor of Biden by a couple of points. So Trump only wins the state of Alaska by about 8 points. There's actual Democratic trends going on in this state. In Iowa and Ohio, again, Biden really shouldn't contest these states, but I would say Ohio should do some visits just to help out Sherrod Brown on that Senate ticket. But Iowa, it's probably long gone for Democrats. I think Trump wins it by about 8 to 9 points against Biden, while Trump wins Ohio by 7 to 8 points against Biden as well. So I'm going to put these states both as likely Republican. In Florida, I also think Trump wins this state by about 6 points, I would say. It'll get 3 points more Republican than it was last time. Again, it's mainly because the people moving the state are Republicans. They're leaving like swing states like in the Rust Belt, which my personal theory is the Rust Belt kind of got more Democratic because a lot of Republicans moved down south of Florida because they saw how DeSantis is acting super conservative down there, and they just liked the way he was running the state. So a lot of them head down to Florida. Plus, the Cuban voters are just shifting more and more to the Republicans because the Republicans keep hammering Democrats as socialists, which is pretty much a scare word for Cubans down there, which is why Flores is getting more and more Republican. And I don't know why Biden's trying to win this state. I just don't think it's possible anymore. I don't think the coalition really exists there. Republicans keep doing better with Latinos in the state, too. So it's going to be a tough lift for Biden to even win Florida against Trump. And it's not even possible for Biden to win against DeSantis either. DeSantis won by such a big amount in 2022. And so far, the polls in Florida aren't too good for the Democrats either currently for 2024. Okay, Virginia, it's pretty close to safe in a Trump v. Biden matchup, but I think Biden wins the state by about 8 to 9 points against Trump. Again, he'll lose a point or two from his 10-point victory in 2020. In Michigan, I think Biden probably carries the state by 3 to 4 points against Trump. That Democratic trifecta will also really help out Democrats. They'll probably make it a lot easier to vote there, and they'll definitely make it easier to register to vote too. So I just think that'll only benefit the Democrats in the urban areas. The next state I'll rank is Texas, which I think is lean Republican. I think Trump wins the state by about 3 or 4 points. Probably about 4, I would say. Trend's a bit more Democratic. And I don't think it's going to be likely Republican this election. I highly doubt that. We look at the trends, every election it gets a lot more Democratic by like 2 to 3 points, and we're going to see that again in 2024. In Nebraska, so Nebraska's first I'm actually putting to safe Republican. I used to have it as likely Republican, but It's a Trump won district of 11 points, so I just think it's probably going to stay about the same. While Biden will probably win Nebraska second by a likely blue margin. In Nevada and Arizona, again, I don't think Trump has that much of a shot in Nevada. Recent polls showed that DeSantis is a much better candidate for the state, and I really agree with that. Independents just dislike Trump in the state of Nevada, and that's probably why Laxalt lost in 2022 because he's tied too closely to Trump. In Arizona, again, with a lot of moderate independents who just heavily dislike Trump, I just don't think he's favored to win in Arizona either. So Trump's pretty much his path is he has to clear the floor here. He needs to win Georgia, North Carolina, and Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. He needs to win all four of these to even have a shot, because I don't think he has a shot in Nevada. I don't think he has a shot in Arizona. But we'll start off with North Carolina first, and so far I'm going to give the state back to Trump. Recently I've been giving it to Biden, but again, I think it'll be a lot more competitive, but I still think Trump's a narrow favorite there. In Georgia, so far most of the polls still show Biden on average slightly ahead of Donald Trump by a point or two. So I think Trump could have a legitimate shot here, but again, independents sunk a lot of his candidates last time in Georgia, and I think they'll sink him again here. In Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, I think Pennsylvania probably goes to Biden by about 2% against Trump. This is the state Trump needs to win. If he doesn't have Pennsylvania, I think it's basically over. I just don't think Trump has a path of victory without the state. In Wisconsin, it'll get a bit more competitive from really lean blue. I'm going to put it down to tilt because, again, on average, the general election polls are pretty close. So I'm assuming Wisconsin, pretty much a swingiest swing state, will definitely be the most competitive one along with Georgia. But it's pretty much the same map as the 2020 election, and I think we're going to see it again, unless North Carolina flips or like Georgia or Wisconsin randomly flips. So Trump's path basically boils down to Georgia, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. He needs all of those states to go in his favor, and so far, 3 out of those 4, including North Carolina, aren't going towards his favor. I think Biden's probably going to win the same states he won last time, and Trump's going to win the same states he won last time. So pretty much a real minimum change. Only thing that changes the electoral vote count into between the last two elections. So I'll see you guys in my next video.